Google now has a feature in Slides that allows you to take questions from your audience right inside your presentation. So just to review, the typical way that you would present is to just click present, and then you just scroll through your files like this. And there's not anything special happening. But if you click on Q&A down here, or I'm going to hit escape, if you start up here and click presenter view, that gives you the audience Q&A, you get this same panel. We just looked at this panel in one of the videos about the notes panel. And by clicking speaker notes, you look at the speaker notes. But then there is this thing called audience tools. Now mine says continue recent because I've just experimented with this before I made the video, but I'm going to click start new, and your presentation will probably say start new. What you're doing is you're going to be getting a code that you can give to your audience, and that will allow them to type questions in that you can see. Right now it's already set to on. If I turned it off, that would go away, but I can just turn it back on. Sometimes you'll be giving a presentation and you will only want to take questions at a certain point. So that would be the reason to have the on-off switch. I'm going to just move this for a second off of the screen. This is what your audience would see. They would see that this URL would come up here. And what they would have to do on their own devices, they would get online onto Chrome or something like that, and they would have to physically type this in. That's probably the hardest part of this, is that they'd have to type this in. But then when they go there, they will get a question and answer screen. So I'm going to pull this back. I'm going to highlight this URL and click Control C to copy. And then I'm going to go into another Google account so that you can see what this looks like. Okay, this is telling me that I cannot join it unless I belong to the presenter's organization. Now, this may happen if you're in a school and you're presenting to a group of people that don't go to your school. So let's take a look at how you change that. Right now, this says I'm only accepting questions from my organization, and that would say the name of your school possibly. If I want to change that, if I'm only giving this to people at my school, then that's fine. But if I want it to be open to anyone, maybe you've got parents in your audience or something like that, then you could switch to that, and now it's accepting questions from anyone. So if I go back to that other account and I hit refresh, now I'm in. So I can ask a question. And I'm not actually going to ask one. I'm just going to type something. So this is my own personal Google account. So it's going to use my profile picture and my name when I submit it. So let me submit it like that. And then I'll come back to my other account and show you what that looks like as the presenter. So now I've got this question that came up. Now I'm going to go back to the account and I'm going to submit something anonymously. I'll click Ask Anonymously and submit. So now I've got two. One of them came from someone who I don't know, and another one came from someone that I do. So I'm going to go into a completely different account now, and I'm going to go to that same presentation. Now notice when I'm there, I'm a completely different person. I can already see that those other two questions have come up. So I'll ask my own question. It's going to be a completely off-topic question. So this one gets stacked in here. So I want to show you the up and down voting. So maybe I see this one here, maybe this anonymous one, and I like it. I'm going to click upvote, and then I'm going to refresh the page. Notice that this one has now moved because it's gotten an upvote. Now maybe if I am in here as someone else, I'll refresh this page. Now I've got all the questions, and I will upvote it again. So that one stays high. What happens is that as all of the participants read the questions and ask their own, the questions with the most upvotes rise up to the top, and any questions that get downvoted start getting moved to the bottom. So let's see what happens to this one if I downvote it. I'll refresh the page, and now that moved down. So as the presenter, now I'm going to look at this Q&A panel. I have all of these here. If I decide, okay, this one here got 2 upvotes, I don't have to answer these questions as they come up. They're just going to show up on this screen, and the audience will sort of see them on their own screens, but they're not going to interrupt my presentation. If I'm ready to answer one, then I can click present. I'll slide this out of the way. And now that person's question has basically turned into a slide. And so I can stop my presentation, I can answer that question, and then when I'm ready to proceed with the rest of my presentation, then I can just hit the back key, and it's back to where I started. And when I hit forward, it just proceeds through my slides as normal. So that is how you use the audience Q&A feature.